8:30. We'll call this meeting to order here in the second happiest place on earth, Clay County Courthouse. Good morning, everybody. The first item is to approve the agenda, and we've got no additions before us today.
I'll move approval.
Okay, we have a motion by John, second by Frank. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And it can show today that we have no citizens to be heard. So we'll move into paying the bills.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 8:35 item, award bids for the Family Service Center Elevator Refurbished Project. I'm going to kind of run this out for 25 minutes.
The sad part is I probably could.
Okay, we're going to...
That he probably will.
Oh, no. Well, good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. Last week, we opened bids for the rebid process for the family service elevators, and we did receive 2 bids. And we asked for some time to evaluate them, and we did. George and I sat down and spent a minimum of 2 hours, I guess, on reviewing the bids and comparing everything about the bids. And we feel that the Otis Elevator has submitted a valid bid. We've communicated with them as well for clarity on a couple points. And the only discrepancy that we came up with that we wanted to bring to your attention is on that back page, and that is the monthly maintenance. The monthly maintenance was a little bit higher with Otis. It was $630 per month for a 5-year agreement with, I think, a 4% increase annually. And the ThyssenKrupp was a $570 per month. So there is a $60 a month difference there, but the bid is still cheaper going with Otis Elevator at $338,516. So we would recommend, number one, awarding the bid to Otis Elevator in the amount of $338,516. And then, secondly, we do have a contract that we've gone over. We've discussed a little bit with Otis Elevator. Jenny did review it yesterday for us, and we just have a couple points of clarification on it when the warranty time starts and or how the warranty affects the service contract and the payment schedule, and I think that was about it on the contract that we wanted to discuss with them. So we're really looking for 2 motions to accept the bid, and then also to authorize Georgia or myself, or if you want to go with the chair, that's fine, to sign the contract for the operation.
What have we paid in service contracts in the past?
And the chair just asked me that before the meeting, and I know I checked when we started this process. We were paying $1,600 for service contracts for the elevator.
For the year?
Per month. Per month.
$1,600?
Yes, but and I can check on that, but I believe that was for both buildings, both the courthouse and not for the one. This is just for the one building, the $530 or the $630.
That's for so many years, right? The maintenance contract.
It's a 5-year maintenance contract.
And it's maybe was more because of the age of our...
The age of it.
Yeah, I suppose it'll go up as the equipment ages, I assume, so it's...
Yeah. And of that 5 years, there's a 4% inflation every year on the $630 a month. It's 4% per year, even during that 5-year period.
Brian, you mentioned that it might have been for both of them. Would we be into a situation where we into a contract on that other maintenance agreement on the elevator now from the prior contract that we would have trouble with? Or?
No, we won't have trouble with it because there is a 90-day out on either one of them. And that's something else we have to clarify with Otis. They are our service contractor over in that building right now.
Oh. So that's who we're paying it to now.
That's exactly right. So we'll work something out on that. We've had discussions of, do we leave the service contract in place while they're under construction? Because we still have an elevator, and if they're using that one and something shuts down, and they say, well, that isn't part of the bid, so we have to clarify that point, too.
All right.
I'll move to approve the Otis elevator bid.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That motion carried. Okay, then we have the maintenance agreement that is proposed at $630.
So moved.
You have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I just have one more question. How does this compare to our bid earlier?
The bid we had earlier was $375,700. So it's about a $37,000 reduction that we saved in rebidding it. And then, Mr. Chair, I'm assuming that the motion then authorizes signature for contract?
Yes.
Yes, okay, very good.
And I would assume that can be done by the administrator.
Okay, very good. We'll certainly do that. Mr. Chair, that concludes it then. Thank you for the elevator.
All right. Very good. We're way ahead of schedule here. We go to committee reports. Frank?
No report.
No report. We're going to really have a short meeting today. Grant?
No report.
John?
No report.
Well, that's interesting. Let's see. Well, I suppose with the holiday, isn't it? That was the... And I have no report. Brian, you got 25 minutes to kill.
Well, Mr. Chair,
What's the state of the county here?
A couple of things. It wasn't all that quiet for us on staff, I guess, last week. But one thing I did want to bring up, you approved the agreement with Drake Counseling through the end of the year, and I just wanted to let you know that there has been some movement over in the Family Service Center, and Drake has reduced its amount of square footage. In fact, their lease was to expire. You remember we had quite a discussion last year because Drake is a nonprofit and the number of square footages, and we checked on the amount and all those. Well, they're reducing their space by about half. In fact, they were considering moving out because they just are not utilizing the space. So what we've had is some shuffling around over there. Public Health is going to take more of second floor. Productive Alternative is also reducing some space, and Drake is reducing some space. So we're actually, Public Health is picking up more of their space, and they were kind of cramped up on that third floor. So, and they're moving, Bruce and Kent are going up into Public Health space, and then it's a whole nursing unit that's coming down to second floor and things. So they're doing some shuffling over there. And I guess just a word of comfort. When they asked me to come over and take a look at that space that they were going to, and boy, that second floor is really nice over there. It's when who was it that moved out? Not Drake. That's when Drake moved in. Share House moved out. We repainted and did some carpeting work in there, and if you ever get a chance, just stop up to that second floor. Maybe some of you have been up there, and I'm sure John has because he's over there quite a bit. But boy, that's really nice office space over there. So it'll be fully 100% occupied. And that was a discussion I had with Kathy about it. They felt that they could increase their share from the state to cover that, and it was included in some of the grants because they said the board isn't going to be happy if you come and ask for more county dollars to occupy more of that space. And she assured me that it's within the grants, so it's being covered. So. So I just wanted to report to you on that there's been shuffling around there. Both Commissioner Everett and Commissioner Campbell did attend the highway tracking meeting after the last county board.
We did just have something
Yes, you
report.
did. You did have meetings.
Yeah.
But that went quite well.
Yes, we did.
We just updated on a couple of construction items. In fact, we had a construction update, and one of the things that the whole board may be interested in, it's been a slow season to get the construction operators moving because of the rain and different things. So I think you probably maybe have received a couple calls on the washouts and the boarding and when it's going to be done and things. And Nathan reported on that and said it's a little slow getting going. Dave reported on his trip to Washington, D.C., thought it was really well worth it in the follow-up on the Tiger grants. And I think we have as good of a shot there as we've ever had of getting some dollars for some construction. So that went well. I met with Darren on a new computer software program that they are talking about that with the difference in classification, and I was going to say the healthcare changes, they are going to be requesting some additional dollars in their budget for some upgrades, software upgrades, plus they're going to a software system on our computer system where if a person is applying for the job, they can actually go in and apply online. It's something that has really lagged behind, I'll say, the industry, and that is allowing people to go in and fill out their application right online, and then it's fed into the system, and it's going to be time-saving when they go that direction. So we talked quite a bit about that. We also had lengthy conversations on the classification work that they are doing. We talked about that last time on the PIC committee, but we've met on that a few times, spent a lot of time on the elevator bids. We went through that. Mike and Ryan from Burns Architect came over and met in regards to the Family Service Center. If you noticed, we did employ them. We contracted with them up until the time that we accepted the bid, and then we are going to work with Otis directly on a contract and things. So it just gets to be quite expensive to utilize those services. I did have an administrative diversion meeting last Thursday morning, and just kind of the normal routine things. There was an update on the lawsuit, and we talked about the financing aspect of it, and then they did update some on the construction. There's a lot of work that's going on in the town of Fargo, and Moorhead got their bonding money as well. So, sometimes that's not being talked about much. It's all talked about the dam and the retention down south. But there's a lot of work being done in both towns to raise those levees so that more water can be pushed through town. So there's a lot of work on that. And that aqueduct, that physical modeling that's going on is going to be displayed down in the cities on July 24th. I know I don't plan to go for it.
You're not going?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't. I said maybe.
Yeah, it's a whole day, and so.
Yeah, I got commitments that day, so.
Yeah. We had management team last Thursday, and Lori and Nancy and I met yesterday on that letter. I don't know. I think you got copies of that from that Manson estate letter, that inquiry that Paul wants to come to the board with. And,
I don't think the board's gotten a letter on this.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, no, that
It
came
was
directly, I
just
guess,
a
to me.
phone call that I got.
Okay, you got the phone call. Well, what we're doing is we're going to draft a letter kind of pointing out things, and then we're going to copy you guys on it, and then we'll ask them, because they want to come to the board, so we'll ask them, certainly welcome them to come to the board, but we want to lay out the points of, and we'll send a copy of the letter to all of you, and then to Paul as well, or to Representative Marquardt on that. So, and then had some evaluations that I've been working on. So that was my week, Mr. Chair.
Very good. And after this meeting, you and Frank and I are going to meet for a little bit to go over the DMV building and.
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, I think that's probably good.
Yeah.
Is it working well?
Well, we've got a little bit of traffic issues that we've got to try to figure out and ways to get people moving around there a little bit better.
Yeah, it's not set up right yet.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I apologize for not being here on time for the citizens' concern, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, if it's all right with you.
Sure.
My spouse was at the DMV.
Maybe you should.
Why don't you use the microphone?
Okay, thank you. I was
was not there, but my spouse was at the DMV on Monday of this week, and she really thought that it was very well done, the way that the DMV was put together and things. But her concern was, she was there and she waited for 47, 48 minutes, which was not the problem, don't get me wrong, because they were extremely busy. But just what you had said, Mr. Chairman, is the flow. She witnessed 2 arguments in the entryway because so many people come in at one time, and when you get an extremely large amount of people in there, people are, okay, who's next, who was here first? One person went out to his car after he had waited for like 30-some minutes to get something out of his car. He came back in, and an argument pursued because he was out in his car, and the other person thought he budged in front of him in line and things. But she's been in Social Security offices all over the western part of the country and things, and her suggestion was simply that numbering system. That numbering system was not in use that day, but she just thought that that would make such a difference because if somebody went to their car or whatever, they could come back, and when they called the number. But anyway, again, she was not concerned about the time of waiting. She said the people were working. It wasn't like they were sitting around. They were extremely busy, but the one thing is a couple of arguments and so many people just kind of milling around in the thing. So I appreciate you hearing me.
No problem. Yeah, the numbering system is ordered and being ready to be put in place, so we'll have that.
They've always had that in the past.
Yeah, we've always had it, but they were, I don't know if they had intended to try it without it or not, but it obviously was not working, so.
Right, and they just had it on one side, they had it on the motor vehicle side, and that's what would cause some of the bottlenecking. People would come through the door, they'd pick a number, and that was for motor vehicle, but if you were there for your driver's license renewal. So then they did try a serpentine thing, and Mark ordered a numbering system yesterday that'll be a two-digit system and a 3-digit system working for both sides. And I think that was kind of the holdup. People were willing to accept the congestion in the past, but now we need to make that thing work. And if you remember right, last year they said that their transactions had gone up 4,000 in the year. You know, what business wouldn't like to see that kind of increase? And I think we're seeing still steady increases. I think this economy around here anyway is really helped, and the demand is really high there. So we'll talk about that today.
Well, there's more and more cars, apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll try to get something resolved there here this afternoon, or this morning. Grant.
Where are we meeting with the city council next week? Where's that at?
That's here.
Here? I was going to say then, maybe we should, do we have a lot on our agenda? Maybe we should just have our board meeting in the afternoon before that. And
we actually have those interviews for Buffalo Red River Watershed scheduled for 8:35 and the legislators for 9:05. And then we wanted to keep it separate.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just thought maybe if we had.
How are we going to set that up when we're meeting with them? We're going to be around a big table, or?
Well, the boss has already decided how that's going to be. She said.
She said.
No, Vicki and I came in and we set some tables up over here, and we kind of did a dry run, and we think it'll work out fairly well. We were originally talking about, moving those big chairs, but we'll put some tables over in there, and we got it kind of placed out. So.
Okay.
Right.
Something else you could announce about the new speaker system in the other room.
Oh, yes, Mr. Chair. A short time ago, Commissioner Everett had talked about the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, and when there is a larger crowd in there, and when somebody speaks to the Planning Commission, the crowd can't hear. So I'd asked IT and the MIS Technical Services, Information Services, to work on looking at a speaker system in there of some kind, and they reviewed it and they ordered something, and they just have it set up in there now. So there is a speaker system in there, and mics and microphones above where the audience sit, and Commissioner Everett really feels that'll help the crowd hear better when somebody is presenting. And that's a large board too. What is it, 10 or 11 members on that planning board? So sometimes it's even hard for everybody around that table to hear as well. So that'll help a great deal.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Can that be used, that can be used for other meetings as well then?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Or SWAC meetings?
SWAC meeting would be
Yeah.
great to use it.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, I think we've covered everything. Anything else? John, anything else? Vicki? All right, this meeting is adjourned.